Hello, classes. I'm giving out a different assignment for dotted quarter notes. The last one I gave out, which was that worksheet, seemed a little difficult for most students, and there seemed to be some confusion about counting dotted quarter notes. So I just wanted to try to clear up some of the misconceptions. So I'm going to go over a couple things and hopefully this will clear up issues that people had. So the first thing you want to know is how to subdivide, and we talked about it before, but I thought I'd just review it because that's going to help you count dotted quarter notes. So you'll notice you can count 4 quarter notes as 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, or you can subdivide it, which means you're counting in eighth notes. So I'm counting now 4 quarter notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can see that the eighth notes I drew below it to show that's what I'm counting, but this is what's actually the sound is, okay, up here. If I tie 2/8 notes together, it essentially sounds like 1 quarter note, okay. You can also write 2/8 notes this way with the little flag connected to it. So I just happen to draw it like this instead, but I could have drawn 4 of these instead of 4 of these. Okay? Now here's where we had trouble on the worksheet. When you guys completed the worksheet, some of you only put 2 symbols I should say, under the dotted quarter note. But a dotted quarter note always gets 3 numbers. Okay? So notice this one has a 1 and 2 under it. This one has a 2 and 3 under it. This one has a 3 and 4 under it. So depending on which notes you have before or after it, there will always be 3 symbols underneath the dotted quarter note, and I'm going to explain why right now. So a dotted quarter note is longer because it has a dot next to it, and it's equal to not 2/8 notes, it's equal to 3/8 notes. So I tied these 3/8 notes together, and the way you would count 3/8 notes if it started on beat 1 is 1 and 2. So that's what you would write underneath this dotted quarter note. Not 1 and, it's 1 and 2 because it's equal to 3/8 notes. Almost always there's an eighth note following a dotted quarter note, and that will almost always be called and. And the reason it's and is because 1 and 2 is only a beat and a half. So to make it a full 2 beats, you have to add the and sign underneath that note. So now we have 1 and 2 and. And if I clap it, it's 1 and 2 and. Okay, and the whole rhythm goes 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, so that's how you would count that. So I'm going to give you 3 examples of common dotted quarter note patterns. If it starts on beat 1, it would be counted 1 and 2 and. Notice there's 3 symbols underneath this dotted quarter because it's equal to 3/8 notes. And if I draw the pattern this way, it sounds the same way, it's just written differently. I tied 3/8 notes and I counted 1 and 2. Okay, the and of beat 2 is right over here. Okay, I just drew it differently. Okay, here's another pattern. Okay, so in this pattern you would have a note before here in a measure, it would start on beat 1. But here's an example of a dotted quarter note starting on beat 2. Again, you'll see there's 3 symbols. I want you to remember that because a lot of people were putting 2 symbols under the dotted quarter notes. So this is 2 and 3 and. Okay, I can also write it like this, and it sounds the same way, just written differently. I tied 3/8 notes together, called it 2 and 3, and then here's the other half of beat 3. Okay, this is only a beat and a half here, so I have to draw another 1/8 note to make it complete the 3rd beat. Okay. Okay, here's another pattern. This one starts on beat 3, this one, so obviously I would have a couple beats before here, some type of rhythm that has 2 beats in it. So in this example, it starts on beat 3, I have 3 cymbals, right? Because it's equal to 3/8 notes, so I count it 3 and 4. And then the 8th note is and. Okay. So I'm going to give you a worksheet. I'm going to download it, attach it to the assignment, and what I want you to do is I want you to tell me what the counts are for each measure. There will be 8 measures of notes. Just print out the assignment, write the counts in, I guess you could do it above, it might be a little easier. Notice the stems are written down, but it means the same thing as if you wrote the stems up. Okay, so here's 1, 2, because it's a half note. Okay, this note starts on beat 3. Okay, but remember I said you have to have 3 symbols. So what are the next 2? Okay, so, and then finally, to make the beat 4 complete, since it's only half a beat of 4 in here, you have to put the and sign here. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, here's another one. Here's beat 1, here's beat 2. Now this is a little tricky, I didn't show you this one, but this one is beat 3. Again, this gets 3 symbols, so what comes after 3? It's going to be and, right? Because this is only part of 3. The other part of 3 is in here. 3 and, 4 and, okay? And here's another one. So this gets 3 numbers, so it's 1 and 2. Okay, this is and, this is 3, 4. Okay, so there's 8 exercises altogether. I hope that helped to clear things up. And again, make sure that you guys write 3 symbols under each dotted quarter note, just like I kind of have here, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, not 2 symbols. And I hope that helped. And I hope this next assignment's a little bit easier for you guys. If you have any questions, send me an email or write a message in the private comments.